Your electricity bill went up again. You stared at the number for 4 straight seconds before opening the app to find out why. Nothing changed. Same thermostat, same habits, same drafty window you've complained about since move-in day. And every energy-saving video on this platform is made for someone with a $40,000 roof system and a garden the size of a football field. Someone who owns the walls around them. You don't, you rent. The clean energy conversation forgot you exist. That ends right now. By the time this video's over, you'll know exactly how renters are cutting their electricity bills by up to 40% with gear that needs zero drilling, zero landlord approval, zero permanent anything. Solar panels that roll up and leave with you. A power station that runs your fridge all night without a sound. A wind harvester built for the exact chaos your building creates. Nothing touches a wall stud. Everything fits inside a standard lease. The renter's trap. Here's a number that should annoy you. More than 46 million renter households in the United States right now, an all-time high. And renters made up roughly 4 out of every 5 new households formed last year. That's not a niche audience, that's over a third of the country. And almost none of the energy content out there was built for that third. Open any solar guide and line 1 assumes you own a roof. Open any electrification article and step 1 is call an electrician. Step 2 is apply for a home equity loan. You close the tab not because the advice is wrong, but because it was never written for you. And even if it were, there's still your landlord standing between you and a power drill, guarding your security deposit like it's a hostage. Drill one hole in the wrong spot and that $1,500 is gone. So most renters do nothing, watch the bill climb, and wait for home ownership to fix a problem they could be fixing tonight. Before we fix that, know what you're fighting. On a typical bill, 3 things eat most of the cost: heating and cooling, water heating, and a long tail of appliances quietly sipping power around the clock while they're switched off. Aim at the wrong one, and you'll waste money proving a point nobody's grading you on. Let's aim at the right ones. Free money first. These moves cost you nothing but a few minutes and mild self-control. Think of this as free money hiding in your lease. First, kill the phantom load. The Department of Energy says standby power. The electricity your television, console, and chargers pull, even switched off, eats up 5 to 10% of your electricity use. That's $100 to $200 a year for devices doing nothing. A $15 smart power strip kills it the second they go idle. Your landlord never even knows it happened. Second, swap your bulbs. 10 minutes, up to 80% less energy per bulb than old incandescents, $20. A stepladder, done. Third, get disciplined with your thermostat. You don't need to freeze. Push it back 7 to 10 degrees for 8 hours a day, at work or asleep under a blanket, and you can shave up to 10% off your yearly heating and cooling costs. Layer up, run a fan in summer, and stop paying to heat an apartment nobody's standing in. Fourth, go after your drafts. Removable weather stripping, a thermal curtain, one of those fabric door snakes wedged under your front door. No tools, no landlord conversation, and sealing those gaps can save 10 to 15% on heating and cooling, according to building science research on air leakage. Fifth, wash cold. Energy Star says heating the water accounts for 90% of the energy your washing machine uses. Not the spinning, the heating. Switch to cold and most of that cost disappears. And sixth, this one costs nothing. Reverse your ceiling fan. Most people don't even know that switch exists. Clockwise in winter on low pushes warm air, which rises and pools near your ceiling, back down into the room. It's already installed. Nobody will ever know you touched it. Stack all 6 of these and you're looking at 15 to 20% off your bill before spending a single dollar on hardware. That's the floor, not the ceiling. Now let's go get the other 20. Quick pause. If you want every apartment you ever live in to cost less, hit subscribe now, because the gear section coming up is where this channel earns its keep. Back to it. The gear that changes everything. Everything so far cost you nothing. This next part costs some money, but it's the difference between trimming your bill and rewriting it. 3 technologies, all apartment legal, none of them requiring a single phone call to your landlord.
We'll start with the one causing the most confusion right now, because the rules around it are changing faster than most people realize.
Solar that rolls up and leaves with you. Traditional solar panels are permanent fixtures, bolted to a roof you don't own, wired into a payback period you'll never live to see because you'll have moved out years before it breaks even. Flexible, portable panels flip that. They roll up. They lean against a south-facing window. They hook over a balcony railing with zip ties. When your lease ends, they ride home with you in the trunk. There are two very different ways to use that power, and the distinction matters more than most videos on this topic let on. Option 1 is legal everywhere in the country right now. Zero paperwork. Run your panels straight into a portable power station. The panel charges the battery. You draw power from the battery. Nothing touches your wall outlet, nothing feeds back into the building's wiring, so there's no utility to notify and no landlord conversation required. Boring, bulletproof, the right place to start. Option 2 is the exciting one, and the one you research before you buy, not after. Companies like EcoFlow sell microinverters, the power stream and newer stream systems that connect a balcony panel directly into a standard wall outlet and feed power into your circuit while you're using it. No electrician, no drilling. An 800-watt setup can generate close to 1,000 kilowatt-hours a year by the manufacturer's own numbers, depending on sun exposure. At the national average price of about 19 cents per kilowatt-hour, that's around $15 a month. In a high-rate state like California, Connecticut, or Massachusetts, where prices run past 30 cents, the same setup is worth $25 a month or more. Here's the twist most product pages skip. Grid-tied plug-in solar sits in a genuine legal gray zone across most of the country. Utah passed the first law allowing it in 2025, capping output at 1,200 watts and cutting the usual utility interconnection paperwork. More than 30 states have introduced similar bills since, and this year, Colorado, Virginia, Maryland, and Maine have pushed theirs through, with California's version sitting in committee. But right now, not one plug-in solar product sold in the US has finished the safety certification, called UL 3700, that most of these laws require. The technology works, the paperwork hasn't caught up. Check your state's current law before you buy, not after. If your state isn't there yet, or you'd rather skip the paperwork entirely, the battery charging route still gets you real savings with zero risk, and it gives you something the grid-tied setup never will: power when the grid itself goes down.
You're living in a wind tunnel. This next one gets the least attention, and it deserves an honest explanation instead of a sales pitch. Wind in a city doesn't behave like wind in an open field. It slams into your building, gets shoved down the facade, funnels between towers, and hits your balcony from 3 directions in the same 10 seconds. A normal turbine, the kind that needs to face one direction to work, is useless up there. That chaos is exactly what a Lancaster University team set out to solve with the O-wind turbine, a spherical, vented design that spins on a single axis no matter which way the gusts are coming from. It won the International James Dyson Award in 2018, and it's still mostly a proof of concept, not something sitting in warehouses ready to ship. But it proved the point. Urban wind is real, chaotic energy, sitting unused above every balcony railing in every city. Consumer wind for apartments has caught up a little since then. Small, omnidirectional units now exist for balconies and rooftops, typically in the low hundreds of watts. Be honest with yourself about what that buys you. Wind is supplemental, not a silver bullet. Alone, it won't move your bill much. Paired with solar and a battery, it fills the exact gaps solar can't. Cloudy days, nighttime breezes, the hours your panel makes nothing but the wind hasn't quit. You're already living inside a wind tunnel every time you step onto that balcony. Might as well get paid for it. Your silent apartment generator. None of this matters without something to store the power. That's where portable power stations come in. Think of one as a giant version of the phone battery pack you already own, except this one runs your fridge, your box fan, your laptop, and your router straight through the night without you hearing so much as a hum. These run on lithium iron phosphate batteries,
stable enough to sit in your living room. No venting, nothing more complicated than a wall outlet to charge. On the small end, the Anker Solix C300 gives you 288 watt-hours and 300 watts of output for around $200. Enough for a router, some lights, and a laptop through an evening. Step up to the EcoFlow Delta 3 Plus, 1,024 watt-hours and 1,800 watts continuous for around $600, and you're in fridge and box fan territory, sometimes even a space heater in a pinch. The strategy is simple. Charge it during the day off your panel or overnight during off-peak hours if your utility offers time-of-use pricing. Discharge it in the evening when electricity is priciest and your usage peaks anyway. Same electrons, same appliances, shifted to the cheapest hour of the day. Do that every day, and the power station alone can be worth more than the panel charging it.
Pick your tier. So how does this stack together? Think of it as 3 tiers. Start wherever matches your budget this month. Tier 1, the free tier, everything from the quick wins section. $0 spent, and depending on your habits and bill size, somewhere around $20 to $40 a month back in your pocket. Tier 2, the starter kit, $400 to $600. One flexible solar panel feeding a small power station, or where your state allows it, a plug-in microinverter, plus a couple of smart plugs to automate it. Stack that on your free habits and you're in the neighborhood of $30 to $55 a month combined. Tier 3, the power user setup, $800 to $1,500. A full panel array, a Delta 3 Plus class power station, and the discipline to charge low and discharge high every single day. Combined with everything else, renters in higher rate states are seeing $60 to $100 a month, sometimes more. Run that over a full year in a state like California or New York, and a household stacking the free habits with a mid to upper range solar and battery setup can land in that 30 to 40% range off their total bill. Your climate, your insulation, and your own discipline with that thermostat will move the number around, but it's real and it's yours to keep. Move next year and the whole setup packs into a single trip to the car.
Which brings us to the question you've been sitting on since minute 1. Can your landlord actually stop you from doing any of this? Mostly no. None of it involves structural changes, permanent fixtures, or property damage. A smart power strip, LED bulbs, removable weather stripping, a thermal curtain, a power station charged by a panel leaning against your window. That's standard tenant behavior under almost every lease written in this country. Nothing here touches your security deposit. The one gray area is grid-tied plug-in solar, the kind wired straight into your wall outlet. And even there, the real concern is your utility and your state's rules, not your landlord. Want to go further? Like mounting a bracket for a bigger panel? Treat it as a conversation, not a confrontation. Bring real numbers. Landlords who own multiple units respond a lot better to "this saves money and adds zero liability" than to a surprise drill hole found during a walkthrough. Some will even split the cost if it buys them a longer lease. And if none of this appeals to you, there's a zero hardware option most renters have never heard of: community solar. Subscribe online to a share of a solar farm somewhere else in your state, and your utility applies a credit straight to your bill. Typically 5 to 15% off, sometimes higher. No panel, no battery, no landlord conversation of any kind, because nothing gets installed anywhere near your apartment. 24 states plus Washington, D.C. run programs like this right now. Worth 5 minutes to check if yours is one of them.
The power is already yours. Homeownership used to be the price of admission to cheap, clean energy. Not anymore. Somewhere in your apartment right now, there's an outlet, a window, and a balcony railing doing nothing for you. And every tool in this video plugs into exactly that. You don't need permission you don't already have. You need 20 minutes, a power strip, and maybe a panel you can carry out the door on moving day. If this saved you an afternoon of research, subscribe. Next time, we're going deeper on which states are moving fastest on plug-in solar and what that means for your specific bill. Your landlord owns the walls, you still own the outlet.